All right, so you're getting ready for a precious stone cutter interview, which means you're probably pretty passionate about gemstones and turning them into beautiful jewelry. So we're going to help you sparkle and really nail this interview. We've got a stack of resources from RoleCatcher.
It's a really fascinating field, It blends artistry and technical precision.
Totally. And RoleCatcher is all about making sure you can present those skills in the best light possible. They've got this career guide that's packed with insider tips, sample interview questions, even this AI tool called RoleCatcher Copilot that we're going to get to a little bit later.
Yeah, what's fascinating about this career path is the demand for precious stones. It's a global market, so the potential is huge.
But it's competitive, right? The guide mentions that it's not just about cutting, but about understanding the gems themselves.
Exactly. A good cutter can spot the hidden potential in a stone, and that's what we'll be prepping you for today.
All right, so first question from RoleCatcher. Can you tell us about your experience with cutting precious stones? Yeah, this one seems pretty straightforward.
It is, but it's your first impression, so don't just list jobs. Think about what they want to hear. Did you specialize in a type of stone? Master a really tricky technique, even personal projects can count.
Yeah, the guide emphasizes hands-on experience,
Mm.
like an apprenticeship or workshop time is really valuable. But how do you stand out if everyone's got that?
That's where you weave in the specifics. Maybe you have a knack for faceting, those tiny angled cuts that make a diamond sparkle. Or perhaps you're drawn to cabochon cutting, which is perfect for opals and other stones with unique patterns. The key is to showcase your versatility and expertise.
I'm already seeing how this goes beyond just the textbook answer. Okay, question 2. How do you ensure you maintain the integrity of the precious stone during the cutting process?
Yeah.
This feels like a test of how careful you are.
It is. It's about respecting the gem. You're not just shaping it, you're revealing its beauty. So mention techniques that prove you get that, like using a gentle touch, avoiding excessive pressure, constantly lubricating to prevent overheating.
Yeah, the guide also mentions inspecting for flaws before you even start cutting.
Absolutely. That's where those magnifying tools come in, a lupa microscope. These aren't just for show, they're how you spot those tiny inclusions that could shatter the stone if you cut wrong. You're proving you understand the risks.
Attention to detail is huge. All right, question 3 gets a bit more technical. How do you determine the best way to cut a particular precious stone? It's not like there's one right way, is there?
Not at all. Each gem has its own personality, color, clarity, size, even internal structure. These all influence your cut. Think about diamonds. A brilliant cut maximizes sparkle, while a step cut emphasizes color.
Yeah, and the career guide mentions that certifications from places like the Gemological Institute of America can really boost your credibility here.
Oh, they absolutely do. They show you've gone beyond the basics. And this is where you could weave in RoleCatcher's AI.
Okay, tell me more about how that works.
So let's say the job description emphasizes precision cutting for high-end jewelry. RoleCatcher's Copilot can analyze that and then suggest that you highlight your GIA certification or a specific project where you just nailed those intricate cuts.
So it's tailoring your answer to what they're looking for, not just a generic response.
Ah, smart, exactly. It helps you stand out. Now moving on to question 4. Can you describe a time when you had to troubleshoot a problem during the cutting process? Everyone makes mistakes, right?
Oh, for sure. I've definitely had some jewelry mishaps in my time, but this is about how you handle it professionally.
Precisely. They're looking for problem-solving skills. Did a cut go slightly off? How did you fix it? Machine malfunction? What steps did you take? This shows you can think on your feet.
Yeah, it's turning that negative into a positive. And speaking of positive, question 5 is all about ensuring that final product meets those exact specifications.
Quality control is key. You want to convey that you are meticulous. Maybe you use a checklist to verify everything, from the cut and polish to the setting. Do you use CAD software for those precise designs? Mention it.
The guide also suggests highlighting how you communicate with clients to ensure they're happy.
Excellent point. This isn't just about technical skill, it's about customer service too. Think about a time you exceeded expectations.
This is making me realize there's so much more to this job than meets the eye. Okay, next up. Can you discuss your experience with using different cutting techniques? Time to show off that versatility.
Absolutely. List the techniques you're comfortable with, but don't just name drop. Briefly explain them. Mention any specializations. Like if you're a whiz at faceting complex designs.
Yeah, the guide suggests mentioning how you stay updated on new techniques too. Industry magazines, conferences, online forums, All good stuff.
Yeah, it shows you're passionate and committed to your craft. Maybe there's a specific technique that's fascinating you right now. Talking about that can really make you stand out.
Like you're not just doing the job, you're genuinely interested in the art of it all. That leads perfectly into question 7. How do you stay up to date with new developments and techniques in the field of precious stone cutting? This is where that passion really shines.
Exactly. Mention specific resources that you follow, maybe a favorite blog, a podcast, even a recent online course. This shows you're a lifelong learner.
And the guide mentioned some trends too, like the rising demand for custom jewelry. Weaving those in shows that you're aware of the market.
It demonstrates you're thinking beyond just the technical aspects. You're considering the business side, too.
Are getting down to the nitty-gritty now. Question 8. How do you manage multiple cutting projects at once? It's all about organization, right?
It is. Share your system. Maybe use a planner, a specific software, a color coding method, whatever works for you. The goal is to show you can handle a busy workload efficiently.
So think about times you've juggled deadlines without compromising quality. That's what they want to hear.
Exactly. And remember, RoleCatcher's Copilot can help you tailor your answer here, too. If the job description mentions needing someone who's highly organized and can manage multiple projects, Copilot will suggest you emphasize those aspects in your response.
Okay, 2 more to go. This one feels a bit tricky. Can you discuss your experience with working with high-profile clients? What if you haven't?
Even if you haven't, you can still talk about your commitment to discretion and exceptional service for every client. Emphasize confidentiality, building trust, exceeding expectations.
So it's about showcasing your professionalism regardless of the client's status.
Precisely. Now, last but not least, how do you handle difficult or challenging clients? This one's a classic.
Everyone's had that customer.
The key is to stay calm and professional in your answer. Share a technique you use for de-escalating those tense situations. Active listening, finding creative solutions, show them you can handle the pressure.
Wow, we've already covered so much ground. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. We've got a lot more to delve into in part 2.
That's right. We'll be diving deeper into the nuances of some of these questions, giving you even more strategies to shine in that interview. And of course, we'll explore how RoleCatcher's AI can give you that extra edge.
So stay tuned. We'll be back with even more insights to help you rock that interview.
Welcome back. We're diving deeper into those interview questions and how to really make your answers stand out.
Last time we talked about showcasing those hands-on skills. But I kind of want to get more into the technical side. Question 2 was all about maintaining the integrity of the stone. Let's unpack that further.
Yeah, it's more than just being careful. You're proving that you understand the value of what you're working with. Imagine a client brings in this rare Burmese ruby. You don't want to be the one who cracks it.
Oh, yikes. Talk about pressure.
Yeah.
So how do you convey that level of expertise in your answer?
You go beyond the basics. Mention specific techniques like using a gentle touch, avoiding excessive pressure during cutting. Explain why you constantly lubricate the stone, not just to prevent dust, but to stop it from overheating, which can damage certain gems.
Yeah, it's like you're speaking their language,
Yeah.
showing you the nuances.
Yeah.
And the guide emphasizes those magnifying tools again.
Right. Those aren't just for beginners. Even a master cutter uses a loupe or a microscope to spot tiny inclusions that could impact the cut. It's about risk assessment, showing you don't take chances with valuable stones.
This is where that GIA certification we mentioned earlier comes in handy too, right?
Absolutely. That adds credibility, especially if the job description mentions needing expertise in identifying and evaluating gemstones. And here's where RoleCatcher's Copilot can really help you tailor your answer.
Okay, remind me how that works again.
So let's say the job description mentions a specific type of gem like sapphires. You input your answer about maintaining integrity, and Copilot analyzes it, looking for keywords and skills thereafter. It might suggest you mention a specific technique for handling sapphires, or a time you spotted a hidden fracture that saved a valuable stone.
So it's making sure your answer is relevant and targeted. I like it.
Now let's revisit that question about determining the best way to cut a stone. It's a chance to show you're not just a technician, you're an artist.
I remember you saying each gem has a personality. How do you translate that into an interview answer?
Give examples. Talk about how you analyze a stone's color. Is it vibrant or subtle? What about clarity? Is it flawless? Or does it have inclusions that affect light reflection? Then connect that to your cut choice.
Okay, so like a deep red ruby might call for a different cut than a pale pink one to really bring out its richness.
Exactly. Or a diamond with lots of sparkle might benefit from a brilliant cut, while an emerald with beautiful color zoning might shine with a step cut. You're demonstrating your knowledge of both gems and techniques.
This is making me want to learn more about gemstones. Okay, on to question 4. Can you describe a time you had to troubleshoot a problem during the cutting process? This one always makes me nervous.
It's about showing you can handle pressure and learn from mistakes. Don't be afraid to share a time you messed up. The key is what you did after.
So if a cut went slightly off, what steps did you take to correct it? Or if a machine malfunctioned, how did you handle that?
Exactly. Did you consult the manual, seek advice from a senior cutter, adjust your technique? This shows you're resourceful and committed to finding solutions.
It's turning that oops moment into a learning experience. And speaking of learning, question 5 is about quality control. How do you ensure that final product is perfect?
This is where you highlight your process. Do you have a checklist to verify every detail? Mention specific tools you use for precise measurements or flaw detection. If you use CAD software for designs, that's a great point to bring up.
Yeah, the guide also mentioned communication with clients, so it's not just about doing it right. It's about making sure they're happy too.
Absolutely. Do you provide updates throughout the process? Seek feedback at key stages. This shows you're collaborative and focused on customer satisfaction.
This reminds me of that bit about RoleCatcher's Copilot. How could it help tailor answers for questions like this one?
So let's say the job description emphasizes precision and quality control. Copilot might suggest you mention your meticulous checklist or a time you went above and beyond to correct a minor flaw before presenting it to the client. It's about highlighting the skills they value most.
It's like having a customized interview prep guide. Okay, on to question 6. Can you discuss your experience with using different cutting techniques? I feel like we've touched on this a bit, but what else should someone keep in mind?
Go beyond just listing techniques. Briefly describe each one. What are its strengths? When is it best used? If the job description mentions specific techniques, emphasize those. For example, if they're looking for someone skilled in faceting, talk about your experience with different facet arrangements and how they impact a gem's brilliance.
It's like, I'm proficient in the brilliant cut which maximizes sparkle and the step cut which emphasizes color, that kind of thing.
Exactly. It shows you understand the nuances of each technique and when to apply them. And don't forget to mention any specializations. If you're passionate about a particular technique, let that shine through.
It's about passion and expertise. Got it. Now, question 7 is all about staying current. How do you stay up to date with new developments and techniques in the field of precious stone cutting? It's a fast-paced industry, so how do you keep up?
This is where you showcase your commitment to lifelong learning. Mention specific publications you read, like industry magazines or online journals. Are you active in online forums or communities? Have you taken any recent courses? All these show you're proactive and engaged in the field.
I bet conferences are a big one too, right? Getting to see new technology and techniques firsthand.
Absolutely. And remember, the career guide mentioned trends like the growing demand for custom jewelry. Mentioning those shows you're not just focused on the technical side, but also on the business and market trends.
All right, 2 more to go. Question 8. How do you manage multiple cutting projects at once? This feels like a universal question. But how do you tailor it to this field?
Think about the specific challenges of gemstone cutting. You might be working with different stones, each requiring a unique approach. Maybe you're juggling deadlines for clients with varying needs.
So it's about more than just having a to-do list. It's about managing those nuances.
Exactly. Do you prioritize tasks based on gem hardness or complexity of cut? Do you have a system for tracking each stone's progress? This shows you can handle that multifaceted nature of the work.
Okay, I'm starting to see how even those generic questions need a gem cutter spin. On to question 9. Could you discuss your experience with working with high-profile clients? What if you haven't had that chance yet?
Even if you haven't worked with celebrities or royalty, you can still showcase your professionalism. Focus on your commitment to discretion and confidentiality for every client.
So it's about demonstrating those core values regardless of who you're working with.
Exactly. You could say something like, while I haven't had the opportunity to work with high-profile clients specifically, I understand the importance of treating every client's pieces with the utmost care and respect. Confidentiality and building trust are paramount to me.
That's a great approach. Okay, last question. How do you handle difficult or challenging clients? This one's always a bit of a minefield.
It is, but it's a chance to show your interpersonal skills. The key is to stay calm, listen actively, and try to find a solution that works for both parties.
So it's more about de-escalation than winning an argument.
Exactly. Think about a time you successfully navigated a challenging client interaction. Did you use active listening to understand their concerns? Did you offer alternative solutions? Did you remain professional even under pressure?
It's about showcasing your diplomacy and problem-solving skills.
Precisely. And remember, RoleCatcher's Copilot can be a huge help here too. You can practice your response using the video analysis feature, and Copilot will give you feedback on your delivery, body language, and tone of voice.
Okay, so it's not just about what you say, but how you say it. That's really helpful.
Now, in part 3, we'll move beyond the individual questions and talk about the bigger picture, showcasing your passion, building a compelling portfolio, and those final touches that make you stand out from the crowd.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back with the final part of our deep dive into acing that precious stonecutter interview. All right, we're back for the final part of our deep dive into prepping for that precious stonecutter interview. We've covered a ton of ground on those tricky questions.
We have, but it's not just about what you say, it's about how you present yourself overall.
Right, so let's talk about showcasing your work. The career guide emphasizes having a killer portfolio. What makes one stand out in this field?
Think of it as your visual resume. High-quality photos are essential. Showcase your best pieces, but don't just show the finished product.
Oh, I see where you're going with this. Include shots of the rough stone before cutting. Maybe different stages of the process. It's like telling the gem story.
Exactly. It shows your craftsmanship and your attention to detail. And don't forget to add brief descriptions for each piece. Highlight the techniques you used, any challenges you overcame, maybe even the unique qualities of that specific stone.
Yeah, the guide also mentioned including any awards or recognition you've received. Those add instant credibility.
Absolutely. And here's another area where RoleCatcher's Copilot can be really helpful. You can input your portfolio descriptions, and Copilot will analyze them based on the job description.
Oh, so if they're looking for someone who's great at faceting, Copilot might suggest you highlight a piece where you used complex faceting techniques.
Exactly. It helps ensure your portfolio is aligned with what they're looking for.
Okay, so we've got our answers, polished our portfolio sparkling. What else can we do to really impress them?
This might sound simple, but showcase your passion. Gemstone cutting is an art form. Let your enthusiasm shine through.
You mean, don't be afraid to geek out a little about those gems. I can totally do that.
Exactly. What stones fascinate you? What cutting techniques do you find most challenging or rewarding? What gets you excited about this work?
Yeah, it's about showing them you're not just in it for the paycheck. You genuinely love what you do.
And speaking of engagement, don't forget to prepare some insightful questions for them.
No, that's a good point. It shows you're genuinely interested in the company and the role.
You could ask about their design philosophy, the types of gemstones they typically work with, the tools and technology they use, even opportunities for professional development.
Asking thoughtful questions not only gives you valuable information, but it also shows them you're thinking long term.
And finally, remember that confidence is key. Believe in yourself and your skills, and let that shine through in your interview.
Okay, so we've talked about mastering those technical questions, building a stunning portfolio, showcasing your passion, and asking insightful questions. It's a lot to take in.
It is. But remember, RoleCatcher has a wealth of resources to help you prepare. Their career guide is packed with tips, and their AI tool, Copilot, can personalize your prep based on specific job descriptions.
So what does this all mean for you, our listener? You're not just going into this interview. You're going in prepared. You've got the knowledge, the skills, and the resources to make a lasting impression.
You're a passionate artisan, a skilled technician, and you're ready to shine.
We wish you the best of luck in your interview. Remember, as a precious stonecutter, you're not just shaping gems. You're shaping moments.
Let that inspire you. And most importantly, have fun with it. This is a career you're clearly passionate about. So let that passion shine through